First off, let me again say thank you for just meeting with me. I wanted to start with, when did you first start, I guess, essentially creating art, and why did you start?
Oh, I started probably when I was 3 or 4, and it was fun, and I just kept going. And I've tried all sorts of different media, painting, clay. I do silversmithing. I do textiles. I do all sorts of things. But I really got hooked on the clay when my second daughter was born, and I quit my job 2 weeks after she was born, and just decided I wanted to stay home and started messing around. Made 2 pots, took them to our county fair. I got a 3rd place, and after that I just kept going. I just started making pottery, and within a month I was selling them up on the plaza.
Was there anyone specific that you learned the skills from, or was it really just kind of jumped into it?
Just jumped into it, and it's sort of my Irish grandma always said that a lot of things are inherited. They're in, because I'm Native American, that it was always just in my head, and it comes out. Like on her side, they've all got a green thumb. They're really good farmers and stuff, and she said that that's inherited, and that the pottery was probably inherited that way too. And that's why I was able just to step into it and go.
From your Native American side, where is your family from?
My mom is Tarahumara Indian, and they're from Arizona, Mexico, and she was raised on the border of Arizona.
Has there been any one or anything specifically that has been, inspiration for you, or has it been more of just looking at historically some of the things created, or?
Well, what inspires me is what's around me. A lot of my pots have animals on them because we live right on the Rio Grande Flyway. We have lots of wildlife here. We have I've got my horses I draw. I see coyotes. I see owls. I see deer. I see lots of animals on a daily basis. So every night when I go outside and every morning when I get up to feed the animals, I get that half hour where the cranes fly so low you can touch them, the hummingbirds come up to you, the dragonflies come up to you.
Oh, wow.
And when it warms up again, the bats will be back out, and they come down and flitter around you. And so I see a lot. I'm inspired by what I see.
What would you say is the average amount of time for a single piece of work?
It's hard to say average because I do so many different sizes, anywhere from an hour to weeks.
Okay.
And some of them I work on for years. A little bit at a time here or there, and they float around the shop, and it takes me that long. And what I do is I start by making my bowls. I have 2 kinds of clay. I use my micaceous clay, the red clay. It's real shiny, and it comes from up north. And then I also use my black clay that I mix myself, and I hand make all my bowls.
Okay.
And I smooth them and sand them and make sure they're really smooth, because if there's any little fingerprints, the glass layer exaggerates it if there's any flaw. So I have to make sure they're really perfect. So I wet scrape them, wet sand them, slip them, stone polish them. And then on my animals, because I'm doing a lot of tourist business, half my animals I mold the clay and half I hand build them.
Oh, okay.
And that way it gives me a little bit lower end to sell, because this is what supports my family. And then I have my little people I've been making lately that are really fun out of polymer clay.
Kind of go off just what you said about really the tourist aspect of selling work. How much of what you do have you had to change specifically to that, so that it's more of work that a tourist would look at or want to purchase coming through?
Not too much, because there's always been a tradition of making the little animals, and those go in everybody's pocket. They go around the world. On the bigger pieces, I offer shipping. And now that people are using credit cards a lot, the credit card guarantees any purchase. So that makes it a lot easier. So if somebody didn't get it, they just say, I didn't get it. They get their money back. And I've never had a problem with that. So it makes it a lot easier for somebody to say, okay, I'll take that $5,000 piece. Okay, I'll have it to your house next week. No problem.
What's the farthest that any of your work has made it? Is there people around the world who have been buying it?
Oh, yeah. I've got pieces in Australia, China, New Zealand, Germany, Great Britain, Russia, Japan. Just about every country. I've had pieces go to Africa. I've had pieces go to South America, to Mexico. Just you name it, it's gone.
Oh, wow. I know I read it in just the article you gave me, but could you tell me about kind of all the different awards you've gotten, or just kind of a general
Okay.
sum up?
Well, I won the New Mexico State Fair's Indian Pottery for 30 years in a row. I got 7 first places this year.
Mm-hmm.
I got 9 first places on the county level. Let's see what else. I've been the featured artist for the Intertribal Indian Ceremonial in Gallup twice now. For Colorado, Texas, Kansas City Indian Markets 13 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
For Tucson Indian Market 1 year. I've got work in the Pine Ridge, South Dakota Indian Heritage Museum, Red Rock Museum. I've shown at the Cultural Museum in Santa Fe 11 years in a row. I just showed at the museum, the Cultural Museum here in Albuquerque in November, into November.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've shown at UNM a few times, I think like 10 times.
Okay.
So.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, I've a lot more than that. It just
Mm-hmm.
keeps going. I've shown my work all over the United States too. And I'm the only permanent potter on the plaza in Santa Fe. I've been permanent now for 21 years.
That is amazing. That, I mean, just to have that amount of time stuff is great. Is this whole process and everything something that you have passed on to, kids?
Lots of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because I teach for the New Mexico Arts Division for 15 years actively. I went to schools, museums. I've got 11 years in 4-H, 7 years in Boy Scouts, 20 years in Girl Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, this is my 27th year in a row to have a child in Los Lunas schools. There hasn't been 1 year I haven't gone to school and done a project with the kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've passed it on a lot. And it's really neat because I've seen one of the kids that was in 4-H is an art teacher now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen kids that were just sort of lost and floundering that really embraced it, and it really gave them something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really neat to be able to share it. There was one little kid that they told me, okay, stick him in the back corner and leave him there and don't talk to him. Don't have anything to do with him because all he does is cause trouble. First thing I looked, sure enough, he's back there.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a ball of clay and hit him in the back of the head. Turns out he goes, well, what was that? So I told you, you're supposed to be making something, we're making bowls. He goes, well, I don't want to make bowls. I said, I don't care, we're making pottery. I don't care what you make. Clay, I told these guys to make bowls because they didn't know what else to do. Show me what you can do. And by the end of the week, he brought his grandma in to meet me. And I never had another problem. And it was just, I guess somebody finally got on his level.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay, let's, just do something. Be yourself. And that's what clay is. It's you can give 50 people a piece of clay and everybody's going to have something different. And it's whatever you make is a piece of you that's going out there. It shows the joy, the happiness, that piece of you, and it gives everybody an equal chance.
That is absolutely great. I, as an artist myself, I know, and with my parents, it has always been something where they've told me, do what makes you happy. And I've always enjoyed just working with kids and trying to bring out the artistic side in people, and just really trying to get a lot of the younger kids to realize that it can be a lot of fun, and eventually it can obviously become a career, something that you can excel at really well. I remembered what I was going to ask was, do you have any gallery set up which is strictly your own, or
Just on the street.
just on the street?
Just the traditional way, and it's worked really, really well for me that way.
Then I guess to kind of sum things up, final question I had is essentially after 30 years of receiving awards for your work, has there been any point where you have thought about maybe stopping or switching subject matter, or is this something which you see yourself doing for the rest of your life?
Probably the rest of my life, and I play with a lot of things on the side anyway. I do the silversmithing, I do bronze, I do a little bit of everything. I do jewelry making, so I've always got something else going, so I don't get bored. But pottery's it.